good morning, dear YouTube's man, all the way Joy Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, it's the first of the month. Grab your chicken, come on. I said, thank God I got mine because but it's time to pay those bills. I can't believe it, folks. It's already April. God, it seems like shit. Where did the time fly? It just seemed like you just started the new year and we're already just, like I said, about a quarter into it. Folks, time is flying. Maybe just because I'm getting older, time flies. So we have here the lovely lady, and she is an IFBB Physique Pro. She turned pro last year at the Masters USA's, and impressive young lady. She's also a champion powerlifter, coach and trainer. She just recently moved to the west side, but the best side is the east side. So, and we're going to talk to her and share her story with us. We have here the lovely Mrs. Jamie Steinhauer, and we welcome her to Howard. Sorry,
It's
Steinhauer.
okay.
I guess caught it because and it's I know I'm from South. I spell it how I see it sometimes. And we're going to welcome her for her time and thank you for her presence. And let's talk to her and see what got her started in this sport, as I call it, muscle and masculinity. Madam, please share.
So, as like you said earlier, I was a powerlifter. I powerlifted for 8 years before I transitioned to bodybuilding. Even just a little before that, how I even like got into like fitness and all that. I kind of started later in life. I'm not a person that like has been lifting since I was like a kid or like, how people are like in their early 20s. I started in my late 20s powerlifting. I think around the age of 27 is when I started seriously going to the gym. And I did that for a while. It was great. I mean, I had kind of a tough upbringing and didn't really feel that great about myself. So I wanted to do something to make myself feel like that I could work towards and feel proud of. I'm sure everybody has their reasons why they get into stuff. But yeah, I did that for a while. I did the Arnold. I think it took me 3 years to get a pro total because in powerlifting, it's not like a card like you would get or how it is in bodybuilding. It's a total that you get that make you either amateur or you're pro. So I think for me, it's like I had to total over 1,000 pounds total. That's with your three lifts, which is bench, deadlift, and squat. So yeah, I did that and it was pretty great. I did it for a while. I had a couple coaches that were pretty great with me and handled me pretty well. Yeah, I miss it sometimes, but as I got older, I just kind of, it wears on you. like, um, but I did, like I said, I did the Arnold and then I went to the women's pro-am, which I don't know if you're familiar with Laura Phelps. She was like,
No.
She was like one of the first female powerlifters to be like even sponsored or coached by Louis Simmons, who owns Westside Barbell. I was very fortunate enough too when I started powerlifting to train there. Because it was a private invite only type of gym. I long story short, I dated a Westside powerlifter a long time ago. But yeah, I got to experience a lot of that. I met a lot of influential powerlifters. It was different. I always kind of said that powerlifting was like the truck drivers of the like the weightlifting because they lay back, they kind of just do whatever. But it was fun. I think that's what made the transition from that to bodybuilding easier for me because I've only been bodybuilding since 2022. Um, the Masters that I did was my third bodybuilding show. And so like people think I've been doing it for years. I've not. I just tell people I've been bulking for almost 10 years. Powerlifting, I was pretty big. I'm only 5'4.5", and the heaviest I got was 198 pounds. So I was pretty big. But yeah, that's why I think the transition was so easy for me because I just shed all that weight and I had all that muscle from all the compound lifts I was doing and stuff. So yeah, I will always thank powerlifting for that too. I think the best way if people want to start bodybuilding is you can start bodybuilding, but it's going to take you a long time. I mean, in general, it takes you a long time just to improve on the physique and stuff. But I always advise people that are beginners to try and get in a strength sport first, like strongman or powerlifting, because you need to build size and muscle. So, and strength training is really important with that. But yeah, like I said, in 2022, I switched over, and I never looked back. I really like it. I feel like I've accomplished a little bit more in bodybuilding, because in powerlifting, I don't know if you follow it or not. It's gotten really popular. When I started, it was like kind of popular, but I think it started in like 2014, 2015, and like people were getting to know about it. But it's like with women, it's like pretty big. Like there's some really strong ladies out there right now. Um, so it was really competitive. I tried for a long time in Michigan. That's where I'm from originally. I got to get on a national level, and I got like the best state record for a couple things, but I never really took it to the point like how we have the Olympia. Like there, it's like it used to be the Kern back then, is what the meets used to be called, or what's the other one? It's changed so much now. The federations, they've just changed so much. So I I tried to take it that far, but I just kind of, I don't know. It just, I did it for a while, and I got where I wanted to go with it, and I wanted something different, like more challenging. I always like challenging stuff. I kind of get bored kind of easy. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but um, yeah, that's all I can say about my lifting stuff.
Well, that's pretty interesting because I just really don't follow powerlifting that much. But I remember I used to watch the strongman competitions. Used to come on like ESPN and ABC and NBC. Those guys were a different level, you know. I recently just interviewed like a week ago a young lady who's from Australia who's a power lifter, and now she's also considering making the transition to bodybuilding. And there's quite a few ladies who started out as in powerlifting, and some still compete in powerlifting. There's one lady who, when I post this picture, she really has a good response about you, and that is the current #2 in the world in women's bodybuilding, 2024 Rising Phoenix champion, Angela Yo. And I mean, just you and her. And she also still does powerlifting because I know she was at
Yeah,
the Arnold weekend just a month ago.
yeah. I remember when I first met Ange. You know, it's funny. I was pro and she was amateur powerlifting, right? So we had the same singlet. And she came up to me and she's like, "Oh, you got a." It was a Cthulhu singlet, by a guy that owns a merch company called Lift Evil, and yeah, she was so sweet. I think it's so crazy because in that picture I'm bigger than her. Now she's bigger than me. Isn't that crazy how that switched? Because I, like I said, I was pretty big then. I was, God, I mean, I was just, it kind of had to be for the amount of weight that I was trying to accomplish. But yeah, she did talk to me the other day about that. I think that's really funny. No, she's great. I know her style of lifting, even for bodybuilding, she really likes powerlifting, and she does that a lot. I think that's why she's able to have such an impressive, like that dense muscle physique that she has. But yeah, there's another lady, Hunter Henderson. I'm sure you've heard her.
Yeah,
She's
yeah, I
like
know.
a world champion power lifter. Like she's made many records. There's another lady too. I think her name is Brianna, or she dates Joe Sullivan.
Oh,
She,
Brianna, I think is it Tenny? Or is it uh Terry? Brianna Terry?
I think so. She lives
Yeah,
in Vegas. She's really good friends with Hunter.
yeah.
She also dates her boyfriend's Joe Sullivan, who's doing his first bodybuilding show in like 4 weeks. I see a lot of powerlifters right now just transitioning to bodybuilding, which I think is really great. Especially because of, you hear the things about, well, more for women, so not so much for men, but like how like the bigger muscular categories are just not as popular anymore. And I
Yeah.
think that's really great that a lot of the ladies are thinking, I hope more of them do that, because like we need it. There's just not that many competitors, and that's from figure up. That's not just bodybuilding, that's in physique and in figure. um I know when I did the California States physique, I was the only physique competitor.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, because we just recently there was For women's bodybuilding, there's awesome shows, but just shout out to a guy who just recently posted that he's him and Alina Popa. That's a guy who I'm a fan of. I was kind of mad at him because what's going on, but I got to do this because now he's doing some good work again. Yo, Jake, I want that money. I want that gun, Mr. Jake Wood. Jake, I had to do it for you, brother. I mean, I owe you that. And yeah, it's just like if you look at even shows like the All the Classic back in the day, it had those divisions like figure, physique, and women's bodybuilding. And almost not a big fan of y'all ladies, particularly of the more dense muscle level. He still has fitness, but I think once the new fit model division comes in, there's a possibility it might get pushed out because there's not as many competitors compared to the others.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's I was like looking at the history of like women's bodybuilding, right? Because it used to be just bodybuilding. There used to not be all these divisions, right? I think we have like 7 different ones now with the fit model. Is it 7?
Yes, 7.
So I really like that there's different divisions because everybody has a goal in mind and a physique, and some people just can't genetically get to the size or whatever shape that they want, right? Like I could never be a bikini competitor. I think I'd be close to death. I mean, I have a medium large bone structure. I've always been like a thicker person. So like it would be really hard for me to get like that small. But I just like the variety of it all. It's there's like more depth into it, I guess. Um, but that being said, I'm hoping some people, because they add the fit model, because fit model is supposed to be what bikini originally was, right? Because like, you see all these other different divisions, it's like evolving in a way. Like I remember bikini ladies, they never had cap shoulders, they never had abs. Like now they do. I mean, I think they look great. I appreciate again all the divisions, but they look different now. They don't look the same as what I remember. Like even God, I know bikini's really not that old of a division either. I think it came out in, was it 2009 or something like that? I
I
have to
think
look.
it was. I think around maybe like that time, 2006, because at the time it was just when you started women's bodybuilding, then fitness and figure came along, and they wanted a division that's very more a nice look to it, feminine look to it, and they just and this is why I call bikini. No offense to competitors, I call it invasive species. It was not. It didn't involve like the other divisions. It was brought in from like you look at companies like Bikini Tropic and Hooters. You go to the shows they used to have bikini, and then I think over the years, it has evolved with the sport as it's grown. You look at figure, you look at physique, you look at bikini, you look at wellness. Like anything, it's the evolution of the athletes.
And that's going to happen too, because with the internet and like modern medicine and all that stuff, we have more information, you just get better. Like again, going back to powerlifting, when I started powerlifting, it was all about being big, not like cut up. Like you just get big. The bigger you are, the more weight you can do. Now that is completely changing. Even in strongman, it's changing. Like people are getting in better shape. Like they're not getting, it's not about just get as big as you can anymore. It's about people are thinking about more about longevity and just being, I guess, a little healthier in the ways, because I know, was it Brian Shaw? He had some like health issues because he's really big. And same with Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall was just as big as Brian Shaw and Thor. And those guys are like, oh, they're tall as shit. And Eddie's just a normal sized person. And like the doctor would even told him, he's like, you're going to die if you keep being that big. But he did it to where he got to, where he wanted in strongman. So I admire that. I mean, you do have to push yourself a little bit, but yeah, I just see the changes in all the sports. Honestly, it's everything's changing, which I mean, it's gonna, right? So
Well, it's about making this good choice. To tell you the truth, like myself, I was at one point, I was almost 500 pounds
oh wow.
because for a long time I was always been a big guy. I've been overweight, but then I was taking care of my mom, and I was taking care of her, but not really taking care of myself like I'm supposed to. And I wasn't like I worked sometime at nights and I eat late at night, and then I eat food. And food was a comfort, especially dealing with her stuff because she was sick for a long time. And then when I saw a picture of myself, it was like the day of my mother's funeral. My sister took a picture. I was sitting, eating at a table. I looked at the picture, and said, "Am I that big?" And then I wasn't seeing a doctor like regular like I was supposed to, and I was on the scale. I was at 478. And that was a lot. I think the highest I remember was when I was coming up, maybe it was like 400, And then I started just making some changes. I'm right now under 400. I'm like about 396. It takes time, a lot of work, And even if you are a bodybuilder, that's like how it affects your body. To tell you the truth, that muscle weighs more than fat, and it can affect your heart. Like I said, one example is I do have heart issues because it's genetic. I have a pacemaker, and that's it. But some of them, not all from being overweight, but a good part of it is, but because of genetics and everything like that. But you have to make those choices, especially if you want to live longer, even if you're in a sport like powerlifting. Hey, we got a guest here, my man Curtis L. Jr. Curtis says, congratulations on winning the crown, Miss J. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
yeah. So you only been doing this for a couple of years now. You always say you did like 3 shows. This was the U.S. National, the U.S. Masters was your first show. You won the over 40 class. I interviewed a couple of ladies who also competed that show. And what was that experience like your first time on the stage competing? Coming from a power lifter, and you're just, well, you say, yeah, lock it up, Jamie, lock it up. And now you're on the stage and you're in a posing suit, and everybody's looking at you up and down, saying, who's that buff chick with all the muscles?
That's so funny because I always, when I power lifted, I would just like practice posing, right, or flexing, and back then all the power lifters talk so much crap about bodybuilders. My one coach even was like that I had then was like, you go to bodybuilding, I'll never forgive you, but now it's totally different. But my first show was in Michigan. It was in Grand Rapids. It was called Westerns Nash, I think. Yeah, Westerns. And there was 4 of us, and I was terrified. I mean, I was so scared. You're really putting yourself out there, right? In powerlifting, it's easy to get like tunnel vision because you're performing a lift. So I used to be just so focused on that. So it was like a different type of pressure. This was like, people are going to look at my physique. Am I good enough? Am I going to pose? Like, am I going to get these turns right? I mean, it's timed. It just seemed very intimidating. It still is. The more shows I do, the more I'm just like so carefree and have more fun about it. But yeah, that first one was pretty scary. I placed third in that one, and then like I said, I did California States in May last year, and I mean, I was the only physique competitor. Period. So like I got that, which was great because it was a national qualifier. So I went to Westerns. I mean, not Westerns, the
Master
Masters.
USA, you say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
USA Masters. And I didn't just compete in physique. I competed in bodybuilding. I actually won my pro card in both bodybuilding and physique. Like, yeah, so like I was really shocked because in bodybuilding, I registered for both because I wanted to get a better chance of winning. So like a lot of people do that in NPC, right? Like if you're like that in between hybrid type of person, you can do that. So I just did that, and I didn't think I'd win both of them. Like it was really shocking. It was crazy. It was emotional. Like I was so excited because that was like a bucket list thing to me, like to be an IFBB pro. I'm good enough to be with like the best people in the world. It's such a huge compliment, And a lot of people don't get that, which I feel like they're trying to make it more attainable for people, honestly, now because of the fit model. Because I feel like it's more of like a natural looking, like, like regular little beach body, right? So
Yeah, definitely.
I appreciate the federation doing that because it gets more people in. So that's why I think like maybe some people might cross over to like other divisions, which might help. I hope help. Like the bigger categories like figure and physique and bodybuilding. Because in my heart, I want to be a bodybuilder. Like I love bodybuilding. I love the posing of bodybuilding. It's just comes more natural to me. I have a really bigger upper body. It's just my legs. I've been trying to bring up more. I was gonna do bodybuilding for my first pro show, but I just felt just with the talent that's out there now. I need like another year to grow, and it's not my upper body; it's my lower body. Like that, my quads just need to be way bigger. So that I actually I did sign up for a show. I'm gonna do the Rising Phoenix for my first show. Yeah, yeah. So I'll see
Congrats.
you in yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because the Rise of Phoenix, it was an invitational, but this is where I didn't really. I understand that what Jake's doing now, because Jake is moving on to other stuff. Now it's an open show, and that's great. I mean, I've said this before. It should be an open show opportunities because you think about it. When you go there, you gotta think about it. You don't have to worry about going against some of the top competitors like Andrea or even your buddy Angela. You'll be up against some people within your skill set.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like right before this interview, I was looking because I do this every time I get pick a show. I look who, you know, was in it last year, right? So I was looking at the lineup, and yeah, it makes me so excited. I just love doing this stuff because I love just getting ready for prep and like just working towards it. It gets so exciting to me. It's like I said, I think another reason why like bodybuilding and like the physique and even figure is like kind of dwindling a little bit because it takes a long time to get that definition and that muscle density. I I I know some people think it's really unfair, like cutting the shows or like, like they're dropping shows, but I get it. I mean, I go to some of these shows and there's not a lot of people. So what are you supposed to do when there's not a lot of, competitors in that division? Like it's, they have to do something, but I feel like that, I don't know if you mentioned this, like, I think in one of your podcasts, like the 3-year rule that they have now, how like in 3 years you have to do a show. I feel like that's gonna pull a lot of the old retired pros. Maybe they'll come out and like help build the divisions again. Maybe like
Well, here with that one, the correction is that the three rule is that that's the limit of how long before you can register, unless you just got your pro card. Unless you don't, if you're not registered as a pro yet, within a year, then you have to, we qualify by doing a national show. The three rule is that you can still be a pro, but if you don't use it, you can't really compete. All it is just like for those people who still are pros, it'll still be pros, but it just they have that time limit to register again. That's the correction about it, because that's why I heard, and everybody then somebody told me what's the whole thing, because it's been there for a while. But the fact was, it's just that people didn't really pay attention to it. Because one thing is they're trying to clean up. A lot of people get a pro card and then they use it for like business monikers, but they're not actively a pro because they don't register for as a pro. Because because to be a pro, you have to make sure you turn in your fee, and that's like 275,
mm,
a year. Because I know I've been talking. I got a friend, he told me last time he just had to get his, and then you have to do that every year. But you have that limit after that, but you are still considered a pro. But if you don't pay that fee, you can't. I think how it is. If you want to decide, what, I want to compete, then it's not going to bring the old ones back out. They're just gonna still stick to it because they know that, especially the ones that who've been competing for a long time, the grandfathered in, they keep
mm.
the pro status. It's just some kind of thing to tell you, okay, if you're not registered yet as a pro, you have to requalify. If you are a pro, you have like a 3-year time before you can ever register again if you ever want to compete.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really I'm still trying to understand it. It's kind of a mess. Here we got here a man here. This is I think it's Duran Hamer. He says, "Love to hear from Masters women. Very inspiring. Thank you. Appreciate that." So anyway, it's tough. So you're going to do the Rise of Phoenix
Mm.
because that is like I said again, it's one of the I think one of the greatest shows because Rise of Phoenix Arizona Pro. It's one of the few women alone shows right now. This in a couple of days, on Saturday we have here coming up the Triple O Dynasty, which is figure and women's bodybuilding. We also have I think a couple weeks after that we have the Vancouver Owl Show, which is women's bodybuilding, physique, and wellness. But you feel like you want to make more time. When you want to test your waters in physique, before you jump into women's bodybuilding? Because, like I said, it's gonna be some girls who are really monsters there over there.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, back in Michigan too. Andrea Shaw, she's from there. I used to see her she used to train clients at Anytime Fitness, and I would talk to her all the time. And uh, yeah, just being around. I mean, even like physically seeing like the best in the world, like I just know, like, yeah, I got some work to do. It's not me like doubting myself or nothing. I'm like, I just know I need the work to bring myself up. Physique, I mean, there's a lot more physique competitors. I'm like really shocked on that. There's some people that are physique that I'm thinking, man, they should just do bodybuilding because they're really impressive looking. Like they're big. And when I think of the lady Sarah that won the Olympia last year, there's such a total they look different, right? Like she looks like a physique person. She's kind of a smaller upper body. She's got nice legs. But then there's some physique people, like I mean, even some could argue I'm like this too, because I have big shoulders, big traps, big arms. Like most physique people don't have that. They're good size. They're like, I don't know if like tone is the right word for it, but um yeah,
Yeah.
I just feel like physique is just for now. I want to. Eventually I do. I love bodybuilding so much. Like I think it's so cool. Like those women are so cool and I love watching them. And like I said, I love I also like how they have two different suits. I don't think a lot of people know this. Like for bodybuilding, when you're doing your mandatories, you have to wear like a solid color bikini. Like you can't wear like your showy one that you're wearing on your little, finale that you do, right? Like your stage performance. And I kind of liked that. That was, I got to wear like two different suits. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I think it's just because I think of like the old school stuff too. Like my uncle used to be a bodybuilder, not like a pro bodybuilder, but he used to really be in the bodybuilding. And we used to watch Arnold and Frank Colombo and like I remember like Tom Platz. I love watching Lee Priest. That guy is so outspoken. I love him so much. Um, and then you see new people like Sam Solik. Like I was so excited for him to win. It's really crazy that all these people, because Chris Bumstead retired, and which I was hoping maybe I could see him at a show, but it is what it is. He did it for a long time, so.
Well, correction with quick bump. So he did a bodybuilding show uh, a month after he did his last Olympia, and it was I think in Prague or somewhere, Czech Republic.
Yeah.
And yeah, it has evolved. Like I remember the ladies used to have plain regular suits, nothing too fancy, maybe something like cotton, a little silk or pleather looking.
Mhm.
But because the look has evolved, because they want y'all ladies with the muscle to have more feminine look, be more appealing. It's about bringing attention. Also, it's about a balance of both as of masculinity and femininity. That's what they want. And you mentioned one person I'm a fan of, and that is the beautiful, amazing Miss Andrea Shaw. Oh, I fanboy over her. I don't know why I do this. This is why, as my other guy says, you give us something, never do for free. And this is a friend of mine. Her name is Eunice. She owns the company called Bad Rap. They're right now they're sponsoring the Triple O, the prize money, and also putting up a jersey for the winners. She was at the Olympia 2023, and she ran into Andrea. This is the issue of muscle development. It's the last issue they had printed. I think it's an old collection of this. I used to collect the Muscle Mag when I was younger,
Mhm.
and this is great for her to give me this. But this is not just the magazine. What's special about it is that what really makes me proud when doing this content and talk about your ladies, that the champ, she don't know who I am. She never met me. I've seen her one time competing, was doing a guest posing in Savannah. That was in 2022. And she took time off and she signed this for me.
Aw, she
She
is such
signed.
a person.
Yes, I met quite a few ladies who tell me that she's just a genuine person. You
Mm.
know, she really, I would say, she really brought new life to women's bodybuilding because it wasn't long ago. The right people started because they were cutting back from the shows. There were few opportunities for women's bodybuilding. They were bringing in women's physique. I was a big fan of women's physique. I call it watered down women's bodybuilding. But me ladies have interviewed all correct physique builders. I'm really cool with them. But it was brought in this alternative, and now with Jake doing what he's doing, owning Olympia and bringing it back, it's good. But still, the issue is about money and opportunity. And then with the bigger division, especially when bodybuilding, people look at that as they're not a fan of it as much. I'm a fan of it because I love the ladies. I love y'all physique. I'm amazed by your bodies. I'm like, ow. And so again, I'm almost a person. Y'all excite me. But doing this content, I really get to learn what it takes to be an athlete in sport. We have here another comment. Shout out to one of my guests here. Shout out to my man KL, the Wanderer, coming through. He says, "How everyone is doing? I'm doing fine, brother." And also, he says, "When you and your husband get married, well, yeah, here's do. When they're already married, it's not getting married. They're already married. So we're gonna do this. Okay, what's your husband's name? How long y'all been together?"
My husband's name's Tyler. We've been together actually tomorrow. It's not our wedding anniversary. We've been together actually for 4 years. We've been married for a little over a year. I met him at the gym when I was powerlifting still. So yeah. That's funny. When you get married to your husband. Yeah.
He's a good dude. He does content bodybuilding. He's just not altogether somewhat of that, Yeah, like it's like that, It's just come on, guy, be a little smart on it. But yeah, it's good, And he did powerlifting for a while, and y'all met doing powerlifting, and y'all been together 4 years, and he supports you. That's good that he supports you. Has he ever considered doing it himself, getting into bodybuilding? He feel like, nah, baby, it's you, it's all you.
Oh, my husband, he was like a college lacrosse player. He's been in the sports. He played football in high school. He did the powerlifting thing with me too for a little while, but that was before he was in school, so it was a little easier. He also did bodybuilding a little bit before he met me, but he works in the ICU and third shift, and he tried to do a prep with me, but it's to be able to eat and like do all this stuff and make sure no one dies while you're like dieting. I think that's like a lot to ask from somebody, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just not really attainable. I mean, he works like 6 13-hour shifts in a row, 6 days in a row. That's what he does. So, and at third shift. So I can't fault him for it. I don't think I could do it either. Like, that's a lot. But I mean, I don't know, maybe he's just into like looking good, likes working out, like when sometimes when you have, your life takes you different places, and he's career is in the hospital, he's RN, so like he really loves taking care of people. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I married him. He's just such a loving person. I'm so lucky to have somebody that supports me on this, because as we know, like not everybody, especially with bodybuilding, it's not everybody has a partner or somebody that supports them, and it sometimes I mean more with like men, I've seen like relationships end because of it too, which is pretty sad, but I mean it is what it is. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, because a couple of days interviewed before told me that they got divorced because they were changing themselves. They were becoming something that I think, like men, we don't like change too often. We like our women to stay the same. But once you're changing, it's something that's you like them for. We should be able to accept it. And also, things like family and friends. It's like they look like your dad might be saying, "I got a boy. Why I need another boy for? You're my girl." And everybody outside of it, we look at bodybuilding. I've always said this, and this is why I learned, is everybody think about it's like taking gear and this and that, but that's only a small factor to it. If you are not consistent, you'll fall a diet. You don't keep up, stay regimental, and understand the process. Whatever you take is not enough for just to be that top level. Even Andrea, she has to work. And like I said, I'm a fan of Physique. He said this, he said to me, he said, no, he says this, he says, when did that you did that on purpose. I meant you and Andrea. Yeah, so what? Yes, I would like to marry her if she likes to marry me, but I don't know if she's kind of busy. I would, but that's just me. I'm a fanboy. I'm just gonna be like that. So also he has a question. Also he says, how long you been competing, Jamie? He says, well, she's been doing this about a couple of years now. She hasn't been doing it too long. I know some ladies who been competing. Like I interviewed a lady, her name is Miss Michelle Brent. She's been competing for nearly 40 years, just about longer than you were born.
Right.
And yeah, she is one of the I would say one of the last true female bodybuilders That's how she started. Is when bodybuilder. She never switched other divisions. And now she runs her own company, her and her husband. She's planning on maybe make a return maybe this year because she retired last time she competed 2023. But this is a sport you gotta have a passion for. And we love it. Folks, while we get Jamie here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump into her social media a bit. If you want to follow her, the links are in the description of this live stream. You want to check out, support her. If someone interested in even helping her out, sponsorship does help because there's a cost to be, especially for the ladies. It's more of a cost for them to show day compared to the men, but still it's expensive to compete, as anybody know. But guys, this is why I tell you guys, I know you're out there, you're sick freaks. This is I tell you verbatim, guys. She has a husband. He works in a hospital. I will say to him, thank you for his service. Guys, no D pics. Stop it. Get some help. I'm telling you right now, if you see him in interviews and we talk about this, ladies told me stories off and on the interview that guys can be weird. Some, like I said, some of your ladies they get excited about it.
Here, women could be just as bad too.
I think often sometimes the guys too induce to the male bodybuilders. I remember one time I had a guy out here, him and his wife were pretty cool, and he was a 212 guy. He told me that sometimes he'd get guys sending him D pics, and he sent his back. Yeah. You got to do some retaliation. So, folks, we'll jump into Jamie's. You want to follow her? The links are in the description. And here's your lovely husband. That's your man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stand by your man. Who's the little doggy?
Oh, that's our dog, our pug, Frankie.
Yeah, I know, lady. She has a couple of pugs. She's a pretty cool lady. So and it's good, And you were originally from Michigan, and why the move to Cali?
It was for my husband for work. We've always loved California. I mean, I got proposed in Yosemite and we honeymooned in Palm Springs. We just really liked California. Also, they pay more out here. But we always knew we were going to move. Not that soon, really, because the hospital he was working at did like a crossover, and like it was getting pretty tough out there with like the new change of ownership and stuff. So that's why we moved.
Yeah, I know, lady. She is a bodybuilder pro too. She recently moved to Las Vegas. He said that the better pay is in California for nurses compared to any place else. Because in California, I think because the cost of living is higher, and so they have to make up for that. And here she is working out. And when you're training, what's that workout you say? God, I love it. It's great to do it today. And that one you say, dang it, I don't want to do this shit.
God, I feel like we all go through periods of like stuff like that, right? Like, because with bodybuilding, it can be pretty monotonous, like you're doing the same stuff all the time. And I feel like for me, the off season's pretty tough, because you're trying to build, right? So like you're just doing just these heavy movements. I mean, I do progressive overloading as a off season training tool, and it gets to you. You get tired. And speaking of that, I'm at the biggest I've ever been off season right now. I'm 181 pounds. Damn, I'm almost as big as I was powerlifting. So it wears on you after a while. Like it's those are the days where you get tired and you don't want to go in there. And then I gotta eat. I'm always eating all the time. It's hard to not get burnt out from it. I know like everybody always focuses on like prep because that's the glamorous part of it, right? Like you're shedding all this weight, you're getting ripped, but that's hard too because you're dieting and that's a different type of extreme. But I mean, even then you get where you don't want to be in the gym. But I honestly, those are probably my favorite days because I make myself go. And then at the end, I'm just like, man, I did it. Like I really didn't want to do this. And it's just a sort of discipline, right? That like a lot of people don't have. And that's how you know you really love it because you're just kind of making yourself do it. I mean, not kind of, you are, but you just know like everything you're doing is working towards that one goal. And I always tell people, I used to get made fun of because of this. They're like, I'd be like, I can't wait till next year. They're like, why next year? Because I'm like, I could see the progression after a year. And each year I look different. I remember my very first show, I weighed 139. The second show, I weighed a little bit more. I weighed 145. And the last show I did in November, I was 152. So, like, I see the progression. It's exciting. It's like a work of art. I've heard a lot of people say that about bodybuilding. You're sculpting your body, and it's really cool. It's just neat to see, you know?
Yeah, it's just like I say, you're taking the muscle. It's just you with the weights of like the paintbrushes, and you're the canvas,
Mm-hmm.
and you're taking and building this muscle with it. Here's a picture video from her at the Masters USA's. What was that feeling when they told you now you are IFB pro?
Man, I did, I just try to like not expect anything, but it's just shocking. It's like, I seen some, and like, there wasn't a really big show, but like, I seen some women there that I was like, oh man, I'm like, am I going to win this? Like, am I going to, I'm like, well, I got two divisions that I'm in. So I hope I was just happy just to win one. I mean, I had, I had people in Physique asking me if I would drop out or not, which I'm just like, it made me feel kind of bad. I don't know. I'm kind of a softie. I get really sympathetic
Oh,
people, and I just want them to do good, but I'm not doing them a favor by just giving it to them like that. You know what I mean? Because I never did that, like, or expected that, right? I mean, it was kind of nutty. I just thought I wasn't gonna win two because I thought, well, they only give out one, but I guess they don't do that. Um, but yeah, it you don't see. I feel like, and I don't mean this in like a bad way. In the Midwest, I think it's harder to be pro in like physique or bodybuilding because the women out there are like, they even down south, they're pretty impressive. Out west, it's not so much because bikini and wellness is like the thing here, right? So it's not like there was like a lot of, it's not that competitive. Like, and my friend that did the show with me, USA Masters, she did bikini. There's over 150 competitors. I'm like, it waited so long to watch her. I remember that. I was just like, oh my God. It's like, and it's super competitive. Like, but not for like like I said, the bigger ladies. Like, they actually asked some of the physique people to cross over for bodybuilding because you can only have a certain number of people to give out a pro card. And I thank those ladies that did that. I know they didn't want to do that, but they did.
well, I remember I interviewed Samantha Way, and that's what's happened with her. She was asked to cross over because she's doing women's physique. Samantha's a tall girl; she's like about 5'9", and she told me that same thing because I think she was doing physique and women's bodybuilding. I think she got pro two pro cards at that show also. Because I think I interviewed a lady a while back who did nationals,
Mm.
and because there was not enough female bodybuilders, they took the like you have the lightweight and heavyweight, middleweight class. They took it made this one big class, and she was the one who won the title because because you got to remember with nationals, if you win in your class, you which your pro card and you just do the overall, it'll be the overall champion. And because there was only like I think was 6 women altogether, and two ladies that were I interviewed from that show, both were doing bikini. And it's because the numbers so because a lot of women don't want to do women's bodybuilding. And we said earlier how there's some women who should do it because the fact is physique is a stack division, and if you have the aesthetics, like I knew ladies who do double dip, doing physique and doing figure, I know one lady who did figure and wellness and bikini and figure. I mean, I think some people don't want to do crossovers too much because, it takes away opportunities for others, people who want it. But because those divisions are very, the numbers are shrinking, but still there's quite a few more compared to for physique compared to women's bodybuilding. Here we get a comment from my man KL. It says she doesn't look like a man. She must be doing something right. Shout out to you. And also he says, how long you been competing? I already said that already. He says also says I like the pictures of her working out. Nice. You get the green check. So yeah. And yeah, because it is a process. You understand the training, and again, you said earlier how women, I think, find something to feel more comfortable with. Like I interviewed a couple of ladies who were bikini competitors. They did Universe. There was like 600 bikini competitors that show. That's a pro qualifier,
That's
and
insane. Oh my God.
yeah, and and they were the lucky few to get their pro cards out of 600 women they'll try to get there. Bikini, well, it's get popular because you're seeing a lot of women transitioning from divisions like physique and figure and bikini. Especially, I know a friend of mine. Her name is Jada. She actually earned a pro card as a physique competitor and competed in physique for the first couple of years of her career. Switched over to women's bodybuilding, did that for a bit. Went back to physique, and now she's doing wellness. And because it's like we say it like this, we do in my podcast, we talk about how that division has those strong Afro aesthetics. That's why the Brazilians do so well because they do have those strong aesthetics. It takes a lot of time to build that size, that development. That's why many of the ladies who win in the Olympia are mostly Brazilian because they have those strong aesthetics. And because it's a proper division, it mixes a little bit of like you have a bikini top with a bodybuilder's bottom.
Oh my God, you said it perfectly. When at the show that I did at Masters, there was some wellness ladies, and I'm like, man, I need her legs. I'm like, I'll train you. Like, shoot, like they're so impressive. I thought at that show that I did, the wellness were like probably my favorite because of their legs and the definition they had and their glutes. I'm like, oh my God, it was insane. And I know like their diet isn't like easy either because you got to eat a lot to get a big glutes and big legs. Like you can't just like do like with bikini, they're just streamline, right? Or even I guess now fit model. But like yeah, I know a lot of ladies that don't want to do wellness because of simply because of that, because they're like, man, I don't know if I could eat like that. Or and you do when you're bulking and trying to on your off season, you get uncomfortable because women, I mean, even men are like this too. You care about how you look, and like you get self-conscious because you might not have the sharpness you do when you're cut, or you might get a little watery, or have a little bit more fat. It gets to you a little while. I mean, I love bodybuilding, but like if you don't have a strong enough mind for it, it'll really mess you up, like with the body dysmorphia issues. And you just have to like really separate yourself from that. And for me, it's like, why do I do this, right? Because I really like doing it. It's fun. Because the minute it becomes not fun anymore, I don't you shouldn't be doing it anymore, right? Like it shouldn't be a negative thing like that, I guess. And I've seen some people where it's really, it really takes a toll on them. And
Yeah, yeah, especially for women, because you're pushing your body to certain levels. You're putting on muscle that most is not naturally for women. Men, we build muscle because we have testosterone, we have bigger shoulders. It's just how we're built. But for women, it can be difficult. It can be difficult for anybody because the diet, the eating, the training, being consistent, and I've talked about before also. Kia could testify. We talked about how there's the body dysmorphia, how you don't look like you think you look. Your mind tell you one thing, but your eyes are seeing something else. And then also competitors dealing with, like we talk about, is also post show blues, because after you get shredded and you're ripped and you're defined, and then now you have to go back and go on your off season and just get bulked up. It is so much involved because I said this sport can be mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and also financially draining, especially like I said, compared to women. Because the guys, all you gotta do is pour a pair of banana hammocks and boy shorts. Y'all ladies have to look a certain way. You have to have your makeup done, your hair done, your nails done, not just counting tanning and everything else, and the cost of traveling, your suits. It's just being an amateur. That is a lot to weigh on you.
that's what I was like. One of the exciting things about being pro is like those costs of like paying for the divisions aren't as much or there anymore, right? Like I think I spent just to be in two divisions like bodybuilding and physique for the USA Masters, it was $800. Like it's just, I'm like, that's just for that. And then I had to go to Anaheim, right? So I had to get a hotel there. And then, you got to think, yeah, the tanning. And then, like, you got to pay for the spray tanning. And then I get my hair done and my nails. And then the suits cost a lot. So, like, it's, yeah, it's not you got to have money for it, unfortunately. And that's why I'm so lucky I have a really supportive partner, you know, because I think I'd be in like credit card debt and stuff by now. Like it's so much money. It really is. And I'm sympathetic to like, I know a lot of more people were talking about like the prize money, right, for women. And we don't really get that much compared to the men, you know, but I mean, the men, people see them more than the women do anyway. Like, I think that's why there's more money in it for them. But like, it does. It's like the payout isn't like enough, right? Like for what all you do, and like not just like the blood, sweat, and tears, and just the prep, just the financial stuff of like what you're putting into it, right? It's like sometimes you might win enough money to cover the costs and break even, maybe, like you know. Um,
More like sometimes you're just trying to get into the black, but you're more likely seeing the red, you know. And I said about the men's division because it's the one that started all. Everything started because of men's bodybuilding. And I say it like this: if you know anything about the pimping game, the men's bodybuilding division is the bottom bitch. You know, promoters will put money behind them. You know, sponsors will put money behind them because it's, you know, even though the women division now we're going to have the new fit model division, it's going to make a majority of the IFBB and the NPC, but because the men is always going to get the big money. I mean, I talk about this on my channel how you saw Derek Loveford at the Arnold. He walks away with $500,000, and you know, or Samson Dua nearly about that much too. So Jake, what he's doing, why he take it and pull it back, how the Rising Phoenix is going, because he wants to spread a little more wealth for the women. Because
mhm.
you know, and that's good. I hate to see what happens to Rising Phoenix, but I know it's about the business part of it. And one thing I think was most definitely people don't really watch as much. They don't follow as much unless you're a real fan of it. Because that's one thing, if people come and buy the tickets and go to shows, and like I said, I already got my pay-per-view for the Triple O coming up this Saturday because I want to support it because I'm a fan. Here we got here from my man. He says this. He says, if bodybuilding was an art museum, I guess you are the sculpture. Yeah, that's true, brother. And also, he says, um, there are fans of bikini, although I may not be appealing to WB fans. Yeah, because you know, no offense, I respect the competitors, but I find bikini like this. I mean, it's nice. It's just, you know, some ladies say like, it's just turn around, stick your butt out, and that's it. But you know, they still have to work out and train, and you know, and diet and everything. It's a different level compared to other divisions.
Yeah, I like I said, I know everybody has to work hard, but it's just different levels of it, right? And like you know, I'm not gonna poo poo any of them. Like it's, I mean, people could they, God, they could say like, oh well, God, you know, you hear people saying, why do you want to look like a man or like whatever because of muscle, like because that's not feminine or whatever. I feel like that's why there's such a draw out from women's bodybuilding because people think that's just not a way of how you're supposed to look. I guess I don't know. I mean, I I've always liked doing stuff that was hard. I like being different, and it is. It's like it's interesting to me. Like it's people that kind of walk their own path and like don't really care what people think, right? Like it's just what makes them happy, you know. And I feel like that way with like women with bikini and stuff too. Like I'm sure there's people that, because no matter what, people are gonna talk crap. You could do it right, you could do it wrong. It's like there's always gonna be some naysayer, so you might as well do what you want, you know. Um, I feel like as long as you do that, then like nothing else really matters. Because I've had people like tell me like why do you want to do physique, or like why do you want to do bodybuilding, like why don't you want to do like wellness or whatever. And like honestly, just with how naturally my upper body is, I don't think I could do it. Like I could try it, um but it also is not part of like my personality, you know. Like I always think of me as like a little edgy. I like that edge. I like that. I always tell people what I feel on the inside is what I want to look like on the outside is just strong, right? I like strength. I mean, I did powerlifting. I just love it. It's just kind of like your artistic way of expressing yourself, you know. I mean, people don't have to understand it, and as long as I know what I'm doing, you know. I mean, and then the people like you that just appreciate it, I love it. I think it's great that you have these shows and talk to people about it, because the average person doesn't really know a lot about bodybuilding, men or women. Like when you think about the world as a whole, it's such a niche thing anyway. Like people don't really, if you told them who Mrs. and Mr. Olympia is, the normal person could not tell you. They would not know. They'd be like, they don't know. Like it's, I feel like there was eras where it was popular, like in the '90s. I remember it being really popular, and especially with Arnold, I feel like he really did that, right? But he was in movies and stuff, right? You don't see so many people doing that now. Like all they do is like the bodybuilding stuff, and like they're sponsored by people, and like that's it. Like there's no like crossover or anything. Like I think that's why Arnold was so successful. He had he was business minded, right? Like he owned like realty. He did, he wanted to be an actor, and it took him a really long time to be an actor because he wasn't very good. Like I know, like so. I mean, I feel, man. Sometimes I wish we had some people like to do that, But I don't know if like society is ready for that or not, or it's maybe some of the bikini people could do like something. I don't know, modeling or something like that. I would feel like, but you don't ever see it even with them. It's I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I think the thing is, I think they feel more comfortable where they are at instead of taking the opportunity. Like I talked about, just like good example, like you mentioned Arnold, Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
They really get. I mean, what they got attention was in the movie Pumping Iron. That was like about 50 years ago. And Arnold, his first movie was called Hercules, New York, but they had to get a dub because of the way he speaks, because of that Australian accent.
yeah,
And I think some ladies who prelayed their success in two movies like Corey Everson, Richie McLesh. There's a lady. Her name is what's it, Tegan Clive. She did some like straight to home video stuff back in the day. Ray Holey, who was Zap from American Gladiators. I think they get too comfortable. Well, I think the one person that really stands out is Chris Bumstead because he's very popular in social media. He can play like a pumped up Magnum PI or something. He has that mustache. He has the porn
yeah.
stash. I think, like I said again, this is the thing is you have to get out of like Andrea. I think she's lovely. She's great. She should do some press stuff. You don't have to do like a muscle part like me or the Female Vitamin Channel or like that. Go do something like Joe Rogan. Go to like Shannon Sharp. He was hanging out at the Olympia. He had Ronnie Coleman on his show. Go and put yourself out there. But the thing is, they're afraid, and you can't be afraid. Sometimes you got to take the hits. Life is gonna be tough. But like Rocky Balboa said, it's not matter how hard you can hit, it's how you can take the hits and keep moving forward. You got to change because sometimes you can't do bodybuilding forever. Like my man here, he has a comment. He says, uh, how far do you see yourself competing? Ain't too early for me to ask.
No, not at all. I don't know. I feel like I have like a certain timeline, like because I'm married, right? Like it's not just my life. I have another person I have to think about. Because when I'm in prep, there's things I can't do, even though I try to have a really good balance with this, right? I know a lot of people are probably not going to agree with what I say right now, but like, I don't like sit there and sacrifice like my whole life because of bodybuilding. Like, the past couple times I've been right in the middle of prep and I've went on vacations. I went places, right? Yeah, it sucks. I can't eat what I want, but I still stick to it. And I still, but it's easier for me, I should say, because my husband and we like going outside. I go hiking. I'm very active anyway, so like I can kind of get away with it, I guess. But I just, I maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 years because it does wear on you after a while. I mean, there's some people genetically that health wise they can get through it, but I mean, I power lifted for a really long time and just doing all that. And I'm 40. I know I'm not like super old or anything, but like, that's when a woman's hormonally and stuff starts to change. And like, I would, I don't have a definitive answer of like when I would retire or whatever, but like hopefully before don't get any health consequences or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because our major injury. Because I've been really lucky, even in powerlifting, I've had like minor injuries. Like what was it? Like I tweaked my back a couple of times, you know. In bodybuilding, I've really, knock on wood, I've never had anything serious happen to me. And people think, you know, I even natural bodybuilding and, you know, the regular bodybuilding, uh, it still can wear on you because severe dieting like that is not healthy long term to sit there and do that to yourself constantly. It's hard on your heart. It's hard, you know, building all that muscle on your body too. I used to say this to people like I'm kind of like an obese person, but instead of fat, I have muscle. Like it's kind of the same thing. Like the human body is not meant to be super jacked. Like it's we're meant for endurance and stand and like run and like, you know, so it's like you're kind of going against nature a little bit. Which, I mean, I know that might scare people, but like you can do it safely. I mean, I feel like so far I'm like, again, my husband, he's in the medical field, so like we you know, I get my blood work done, and blood work's just a small part of it because the blood work don't tell you everything. Like, you know, you could have like gut issues and stuff. Like, there's a lot of things that your blood won't tell you, right? But like I'm really hyper focused on my health. Like I don't want to wreck it because I know we had a young lady that recently passed from.
Yeah, Jody Vance. She died because of she was taking diuretics that wasn't part of her protocol. She was 20 weeks out from her show, and she died from dehydration. And you know that's one way that a lot of those lady a few years ago. Her name was Helene Halavante, and she passed away backstage at a show in Spain. And that's a good number of deaths compared to. But if you look at a sport like boxing, you know, I used to watch boxing a lot when I was younger. There's more deaths in that sport, but because it's such a mainstream sport, it's overlooked compared to bodybuilding. Because I said again, bodybuilding is a fringe sport. Not everybody would know, you know, Andrea or Angela or even guys like Samson or, you know, unless you're on social media a lot. It's just about where you want to go, how far you want to go with your body. We got a comment with my man KL. He says, just take your time. Appreciate that, brother. He says, also he says, it's true that the she's saying about bodybuilding and the public. I think the popularity for bodybuilding may have be no more. And that's true. It also says this. He says, I didn't see Hercules of New York. Maybe I did. It's Hercules in New York, and you might not have not if you don't know the name of it. But yeah, it's about taking your time, like, and develop your body and to work with the things you should work with. Like we were talking earlier, I said something that says she does not have a coach. That's strange.
Oh,
You're one of the rare few. I think I interviewed a lady. She's a bikini competitor, Miss Michelle Fletcher. She's a pro, and she said she'll have a coach. That's how you bring that physique without having a coach. Can you share that?
well, again, powerlifting, like I said, that's why I give the advice of if you want to be a bodybuilder, you should do something that's not bodybuilding first, right? I mean, I'm not saying you can't, but that and, you know, I lifted heavy weight for a long time, being a competitive powerlifter. I mean, also it's partially genetics. I mean, my family, like I said, I had an uncle that bodybuilded. My mom is like a short lady that was kind of muscular. um, I don't know. I think because powerlifting, just training at the end of my career of powerlifting, I coached myself because my one coach I had, she literally told me, she's like, I can't teach you anymore. Like, you know everything you've done. Like, so I was just like, at first I'm like, did she just not? Did I do something, or like should I train me? And it's like, no, she's right. I mean, powerlifting is pretty, not to discount it, but it's pretty easy. I mean, you're working up to a one rep max, you know, it's all percentages. It's pretty easy. Not saying like the training and stuff is easy, but like to figure it out. Um, I don't know. I've just been a person that's like really, I try to be really in tune with my body. I'm not saying coaches are bad or anything like that. I mean, maybe one day I'll hire a coach. I mean, honestly, there was a coach that I wanted, but he has like the top people in the shows that I want to do. He won't coach to like some coaches will have multiple people, right? Like, um, there's a couple people out there that have like top people.
Stables.
Yeah, and like but the one guy in particular I'm thinking of, he doesn't do that, which I respect that. It because I think it would mess with people. They're like, well, you're favoring this person or whatever. But uh, I don't know. I feel like there's something too. It's like I'm doing it. I'm figuring it out on my own. Like I there's so much information out there. Like I follow so many people, and like I ask people stuff, and like either they tell me or they don't. Sometimes they don't. Like people like to gatekeep stuff a lot, which whatever. I don't. I'm pretty transparent. I like to be because first of all, I like helping people. I don't want anyone to hurt themselves. I don't, if I know it to best of my knowledge, like I do, I have people that ask me stuff all the time and I'm more willing to tell them. I mean, within reason, obviously, if it's like inappropriate stuff or whatever, I'm like, just get out of here.
Well,
But
it doesn't hurt to ask questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question. If you don't know something and you want to know, it's best to ask. And I know a lot of these coaches do have like a stable. Like I think Angela, she's under Brandon Ray, and he has a bunch of people. There's Shelby Starnes. There's also I think who else I'm thinking about? Trey Hodge. There's a
who's the
long list.
the producer is his name? Like,
That's Sid Gillens and Andrea's coach. Sid was with John Simmons for a long time, and then she switched him after the Rising Phoenix. We took second to Andrea. Yeah, he's a pretty popular guy. That would be a good somebody to work with because he has two top level Olympians in his belt. Even though Sid's not competing this year, she retired after the last Olympia. Andrea's still in the game. I think now she's going to be focused on Olympia since they changed the way the Rising Phoenix is now. We have a comment from my man. Shout out to my man KL. He's still hanging in there, brother. I appreciate that. He says, female bodybuilding is like the varsity basketball to me. He also says this. He says, I like your response so far. For there are limits to things. Bodybuilding is very extreme. And also, he asked this question. Says, what was the heaviest you lifted on deadlift? Okay, what was your heaviest sis? I don't call you bro because you're not a bro. You're a sis. So what's your heaviest sis? What's your heaviest sis?
my best deadlift was 485. I mean, I say that like it's like nothing because I know of women like you got people like Hunter Henderson. She's lifted 600 some pounds. But I mean, that's pretty good, right? Like I was 100 and because with powerlifting, it's based on your weight in comparison to how much you lift, right? So like somebody could lift less than you, but if they weigh less than you and like it's greater than the amount that they weigh, then they can win stuff. Like lots of people win meets that way. But I was like 153 when I lifted that. So that's pretty good, I think. I mean, I was really proud of that. I always wanted to lift 500 pounds, but like I don't know. I got kind of content with it. I had a pretty decent squat too. I had like a 430 squat. I benched 225. They're good numbers. I mean,
That's pretty good for a girl. I mean, I was in
pretty
high
good for a
school.
girl.
Yeah, for a girl, because I was in high school. I was already like by the time I was 17, 16, I was already squatting like 550. I was deadlifting 400. I was already doing 350 on the bench. But I grew up a country boy. I used to remember I was one of the strongest guys in my football team. And one of the guys said to me, George, you ever had yourself some? I said, no. I said, well, son, you know what? You cock strong. So, but yeah, women and men are always going to have different levels. We're not going to have the same thing. Hunter, she's still young. She's still growing. I mean,
And
I
that's
don't know. Yeah. Mhm.
like
Yeah.
I don't know if she's gonna. I think she always like flips around on it because right now I know she was in the Olympia. And the show that she did, the Titans Grand Prix. That's the one that I wanted to do because I really like muscle contests. I like how they run their shows, but they're not doing that for. Is
Let me quickly that. Let me quickly that. They are. It's coming back September 20th. It's going to be qualification for next year's Olympia. The guy Tamer who won it because a friend of mine, his wife was there. She competed there. Tina Williams,
uh,
and he's bringing it back. It's going to be in Anaheim. It's going
yeah,
to be this year. It's going to be both women's bodybuilding and physique.
Yeah, because that's the one I originally wanted to do. And when I went on like the website, the IFBB website, it wasn't on there anymore. They took it off. So
Well,
I
it's on there. Just all you gotta do is just you go to muscle contest, or you can reach out to people. They'll tell you. I started somebody because I one of my monikers not just I'm not just a joker. I have a moniker called I'm Jon Snow, the Bastard of Winterfell. And sometimes my little ravens, my little birdies would send me messages. And I saw this, and it's official. All I gotta go to is reach out to somebody. They can tell you it's gonna be September 20th in Anaheim, and this time it's not gonna be it's going to be women's bodybuilding and physique this time instead of just. I think last time it was fitness, women's bodybuilding, and I think men's classic. They might still have men's classic, but this time I think you cannot fitness because women's bodybuilding and physique are loser shows. No lady who does figure. She told me that the I think it was the what's the show? One show in Reno. It was the sports festival. He dropped both physique and figure. I think another show is dropping women's bodybuilding. There was Texas Pros going to have it, but then they just dropped it, and then Tampa dropped it, and they picked it up because of Jake.
bless that man.
Yeah, that's why I say yo. I had to because when I saw he was changing the Rising Phoenix, and then I kind of got disappointed. But then we came up at the last minute, saved. I said I got to do my moniker. Yo, Jake. Yo, Jake. I had to do it again because I used to always do my interviews. But yeah, it is a lot of work. Like at the last show, what was the critique for the judges? Because I know some competitors want to get the critique. What would they told you that you need to work on the most?
I didn't really talk to any of them. I know that sounds really silly, but it was so just because of the wellness in the bikini. They actually like with bodybuilding, they we took our time, but then when it came to physique, they were rushing us. Like I remember when I was doing my mandatories for like freestyle posing, where they have the point where you just hit all your best poses. It's supposed to be 10 seconds. I like look at the video, it wasn't even 10 seconds. Like or it they were running a little behind, and it was because there were so many competitors for wellness and bikini, and sometimes I think they should have a cap on that, because it's like there's like when you said that one show that has like 600 people for bikini, how can you tell who's the best? Like there's so many when you get like kind of tunnel vision from like looking at all these people, like
It's the money thing. The promoters, they make money when y'all ladies, when y'all competitors, men and women, y'all paid to compete. They make money. That's what they're concerned about. Not so much about the cap. It's about making money for themselves. Promoters get paid. They get the sponsors that put up some money, and they get paid from y'all who put in the money to compete in the shows. I know some ladies who told me that that they don't get the judges' critique because sometimes they're just rushing. They just give you something just basic like, oh, you might need work on your legs, you might need work on your back, you might need work on your shoulders. They don't really sit and give you detail. I think best advice is to, if you do find a coach, talk to him about, or they, whoever they are, about what you need to work on. Also, you are also working your posing. You work with somebody you're posing?
nope. I mean, I have two friends that are pros. My one friend, Tanya, is doing the New York Pro right now, and she really helps me a lot with posing. She's really good at it, actually. I mean, she's been competing for a while, and she started off in figure. Yeah, I practice every day on it. And not saying like like I know as much as a coach, but I constantly am looking at people, the top people, and I know like what I have to bring up and what I got to work on. And at USA Masters, I I don't want to sound like like full of myself, but I was the best conditioned person, so there was really nobody to compare to, really, right? Like it there is some ladies, like the one lady you're saying that was it Samantha? She looked great.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Because
In a different age class. So like like, I was the only one in the 35 plus, and then I think they even combined the 40s with the 35s at that show. So like, yeah, it's I that's why I'm really excited to do this the Rising Phoenix, because I know I get like, if I place in like the top 10, I'll be happy. But like, I actually have something to compare to now, right? Like I have like these women have been doing a lot longer than me, and like I'm gonna be like, damn, like this is what they're looking for, and hope that's why I notice a lot of people do the same shows because it's the same judges, because it's all about perspective, right? Everybody has a different opinion of like what they think, like what you should look like, right? um I was like reading a thing about like with physique, they're saying like they're actually like allowing a more dried out look, which it used to be like more fuller muscle body bellies and stuff like that, and now it's like people are looking a little bit more bodybuilderish, right? um yeah, like it's when I was watching the Rising Phoenix last year and seeing who won, and I was like really paying attention to like what they're looking for. So it's interesting because each show I notice is a lot different. The people that compete like that and that win, they're all kind of sometimes look way different than the other person. But
Yeah, because it's like everything changed. Like this, I'm gonna put a picture right here. Now you have Natalia Cuejo, who
mhm,
was the 2022 Miss Physique champion. You have here Ashley Jones. This was the year she was still doing women's physique,
mhm.
back in 2022. And you have here Lavinia Barros, who does women's bodybuilding. You can see, because Ashley was figure before she switched
Right.
over to physique and then women's bodybuilding. Since she's been a pro, Lavinia's been competing as a bodybuilder, and Natalia, she done figure before, but she switched to physique. It's just there's supposed to be some set rules whereas it's separated, where they don't want you to be too grainy. They don't want your shoulders too capped of your figure. They don't want you to be too grainy like a bodybuilder. But the thing is, they're not following those guidelines that was set. That's why women's physique was brought in because, as I said again, it was watered down women's bodybuilding. They wanted to get away from the look of women's bodybuilding. There was always pointing fingers at Iris Kyle, like Iris, but not so much was Iris. It goes back to someone like Kim Zavetsky, her last Miss Olympia back in '99, how big she was. Iris competed that year too. Iris was kind of small. And then, you look at, they wanted to go back to like Linda Murray. But the thing, you can't go back. That's why you got men's classic. Supposed to be a throwback to the Frank Zanes or early Arnold. But if you see athletes evolve, they have to go somewhere, have to go up. I know somebody's telling me they don't want to go women's bodybuilding because, they don't want to get that big. But then if you look at some of these ladies, they are getting to that level. It's about finding your place. You've seen physique competitors who don't want to go women's bodybuilding. You've seen figure competitors don't want to go to physique. You've seen bikini competitors don't want to go to figure. And they try to find their place in what division works for them. But sometimes, if you're in a division that you're kind of outgrowing, and you either have to do two things: either you move up or you pull back. And I remember a lady I know, she told me that back in the day, you used to send out memos and tell you, hey, we want to drop it down a little bit, come down a little bit, come to condition more, be more feminine, less of the muscle, less gyrations. We don't want to see glutes that look like cluck cheese. But they don't sit to the criteria they set, and then they only judge what they see. That's why it's so easy to do crossovers. That's why they would take division, like with your situation, like also Samantha said, they take people from different classes and merge them together because it's so much alike.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like there is no, I feel like there's just like such a fine line now. Like it's really hard to tell sometimes. Like it, and I, like you said, I've been seeing that they're like they don't follow the rules of it, and I feel like it's just, I mean, do you, or like if that's what you have, that these people are competing at like this level and like that's what they're bringing to the table, it's like, well, what do you do? Like um like you said, like the longer you do stuff, that's why I like saying I'm excited for next year, right? Because the longer you do this, you're just gonna get more muscle. You're gonna change, and like you said, you either have to move forward or you gotta take a step back. Like I feel like either way is hard depending on what the person wants, but I feel like if they truly love that division, they'll do it. Like if like the bikini person that doesn't want to go into wellness, like, well, then maybe you need to figure something out and try and reel it in, like try not to you're doing too much of something, right? Or maybe you need to take a year off and like maybe not gain so much muscle. I don't know. I don't really know how bikini people train. I just think it's cardio and diet for them, but could be wrong. I mean, I don't know. don't know what they do.
I interviewed a couple of bikini women who joined pro as bikini competitors, and they look like they could do figure. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it, but they feel more comfortable in bikini. But it's like I said, it's about how comfortable you don't want to get that big or put on that size. It's how comfortable you feel. But understand when you train and diet and whatever you take for gear, because I know for ladies who told me who are friends who said they have bikini girls approach about what gear they should take, like anabol, something like that. But you shouldn't be taking that. You're in a different division. You don't need that much muscle. You just need to be in condition. But it just takes muscle to really build and develop as an athlete. So this is a question I'm going to ask you, and this is a little fun. And I love asking questions because, again, I can't help it. I'm a particular type of criminal. So, tell me, share with me. After your last show, what was that thing that you desired, the thing you hungered for, that thing you wanted most, especially on prep, because you're starving, you're dehydrated, you're tired. It's that thing that is calling your name, is calling your name. Tell me, Jamie, tell me.
Gosh, my cravings for stuff like that are so weird. Because you're dieting, so it's not, you don't really crave things. Me personally, what you normally eat, right? Because my body's craving nutrients. So like, I always want like honey and salt. I know it sounds weird, but like I want honey and salt on like anything. Like I like candy, I guess. So like I crave peanut butter. I crave chocolate. I love donuts. Honestly, if we're gonna say it, I probably want a donut. Some decadent donut that's got like, I don't know, anything on it. Frosting. Like,
I remember when I did interview with a lady just a week ago. She got a pro card at Nationals where it was in Florida. She was this place called the Voodoo Donuts or something they called
oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's where she got some donuts. One person I know, I met her and did an interview with her, Sheena Olick. She's a donut freak. I remember a while back when I did an interview, I sent a care package, and I know one thing I sent her in the package was a big king size of Reese's peanut butter cup cereal, and she loved it. She said, "George, I got my package." She was excited when she saw it. Yeah, food is both a tool and a weapon for a bodybuilder. It helps eat that right food. I know not everybody can do what y'all do because, like one thing I talked to ladies out when they go out because you can't eat out like you want because you have to eat certain things when you're on prep. You might go to an event, birthday party, wedding, Christmas, just heck because you just you are eating things that really is about the process, but it doesn't taste as good. I mean, I tell you, for as a fat man, I love food, and but I had to be smarter while I eat. Like this for afternoon, I had a pizza, but then I had stir fried chicken with some veggies and rice. I try to find a balance.
Mhm.
I love sweets like anybody. Like I buy a thing of those little Debbie Nutty Buddies, and I love those things. Or sometimes I might buy the little Debbie donut sticks. I love those. I mean, I got to do some shopping tomorrow. I might pick up some sweet stuff, but it's about the right foods and what you want to eat to really bring yourself to that next level. Because you want to stay on the stage with some of these top competitors. You just can't come in like anyhow, anyway.
No, it's that's what I really like loved about bodybuilding was that the hacks that you learn, right? Like, it's so funny. I read a thing like there's somebody making all these, like, you see all these like protein like sweet treats and stuff, and people are like, this stuff tastes like crap. And this person said it no truer than any other person. They're like, well, you don't know what it's like to starve. Like, because when you're like in prep, you could you could give somebody dirt, and if it was like had sugar on it or whatever, like they'd eat it because like it's, you're craving that, like it tastes good to you because you haven't had it in a while. I kind of don't like when I'm off season. I don't really like change that much from when I'm on prep. I just eat more of the same food. Really, I just keep it really simple. One of my favorite things that I eat even now is Greek yogurt with protein powder. I use Redcon one. They have really good protein powder. I use their MRE light. They have really good flavors and it tastes like dessert to me and I love it. I don't know. I eat it all the time. Like, I mean, it's just finding like good little swaps like that, right? Like it's, don't get me wrong, I binge sometimes on like chocolate. I ain't perfect. Like I love sweets. I have a sweet tooth too. I was like that as a kid. My grandma used to get so bad at me. She's like, I can't ever make a cake because you eat all the frosting. I'd eat the frosting right out of the container, or I'd eat all the whipped cream, or like, you know. I remember my mom would make cheesecake, and before it was even done, I would just eat that, even not in the fridge or anything. She would just make it, and I just eat it. Like I just,
Yeah.
you know.
I used to remember mom would make cakes and we used to lick the spoon in the bowl. She lets us have the bowl and we'd be like, oh, yeah, that's I miss those days, as a kid, my mom used to make those home cooking cakes. But yeah, food is, I said again, it's both a tool and a weapon. It's about the right foods, how you eat them. Some women have to learn what is best for you, especially when you're in this sport, and figure out how to really bring yourself to a certain level, like the training, the diet, the consistency, the everything changes when you get into bodybuilding. This sport is not very lucrative when you look at it, because the cost of travel, your suits, everything like that. Are you right now have any interest in being sponsored?
I would totally be sponsored by somebody, but like again, it's not like I do a really good job with my social media or anything, you know. Maybe I should do that more. I don't know. I'm just I try to be a really modest person. I'm not, um, like I said, if someone wanted to sponsor me, I wouldn't tell them no. Like I would try to do the best of my abilities to like what they wanted to do. But at the end of the day, I see like, God, social media, it's a good thing and it can be a really bad thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of like a private person in a way. Like, you know, again, like I said, I'm married, and you know, it's not just me that I have to like think about. I have another person to think about, and like I just see how like these influencers are and stuff. They literally like every little second they're doing something. It's like I swear, if they're like going to the bathroom, like they're like, yeah, but you know, it's like I don't have like the mental capacity or attention to do that. I feel like if someone wanted to sponsor me, like, yeah, like once a week or a couple times a week, you want me to do this, like, sure, I do that. But like, I feel like some people are like really extreme about it, you know? I mean, I get it. You're trying to sell something, but I'm like,
Where a lot of these ones, they grew up in social media. Like, you're 40, I'm 50.
mm,
There was no much social media. We did things like, one thing is like, I got to be on social media because I make content. That's how we set my interviews. I use my phone to when I make my videos. I have a tablet when I make. I mean, I have to be on this because, like my master Raza Ghul, the demons had taught me, be aware of surroundings at all times. Never give a sure footing for a killing blow. And that's the thing, is that social media is both a tool and a weapon. And some people are not comfortable with it. I know a friend of mine, she said when she's done with her bodybuilding, she's shutting down. She's not doing social media anymore. She only does it because it's a way to get recognition, get recognition. Maybe people might follow you, enough people follow you. You can, help you get, that's what they follows do help. Because, after I say, hey, she has a good following, like a physique, with like a, like a personality, you might find something you might interest. Like if I was like this, you might have this guy might come and says, hey, Jamie, I saw your last video. Yeah, yeah, getting pumped up. I'm getting pumped up when I see it. No, stop that. Stop that, you sick freak. This is what you say to a lady like this, says, Mrs. Steinhauer. We are interested in you. You have such a very open personality about yourself. We are a company. If you feel like this is something, a product, something that you really can use in your process, and if you're interested in being a brand ambassador for a company, we'd like to help you out in your process. We want to see you grow as an athlete, as a bodybuilder. So, ma'am, if you're ever interested and you feel comfortable working with us, and we feel comfortable working with you, we'll set a contract, set everything up, and make sure we take care of you. So, would you ever be interested in that, Ms. Stenhauer?
yeah, I mean, if I got a response like that, certainly.
Did he say, sign contract, baby?
But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, though, like the only people that get that, they have to have like a massive following, right? Like I just don't have that. Like I understand like the whole game of all this, right? Like like I said, I'm just gonna do my thing, and if somebody wants to do that, I'd be more than happy to. But at the end of the day, it's all about the attention you get, right? Bad or good, like it doesn't matter. Like they want that even to have a subscription on uh Instagram. Like you have to have, I think, 5,000 followers or something crazy like that to get people to pay for your content. Like I'm just like, man, I'm like I only have like 1,500. And that's a lot, but in today's day and age, that isn't nothing. That's like,
Yeah.
right? Like
I
it's
I barely get maybe 1,500 people that follow me. I follow a lot of people because you know what, I'm trying to reach out to bodybuilders, but I'm starting to do some cutouts because you know what, if you're not responding to me, and no point me wasting your time following you. I'm gonna focus on people that do follow me and those who want to reach out, maybe talk about themselves. That's what I do. I want to focus on people who are interested in maybe sharing their stories, really putting themselves out there, letting people know about what it is. That's why I do this. Because, like I said, I was taking my mom. This was something that helped me while I was taking care of her. And then when she was gone, I I really get into it because I really, like I said, I'm a fan of you ladies, and I really want to see y'all get the opportunities. Like everybody's gonna pay attention to the guys because the big muscle guys all get attention. They'll pay attention because the bikini girls because they're cute and little. And yet the teenage divisions that's wellness and bikini. But y'all ladies, if it wasn't for bodybuilding, the others wouldn't exist. And it wasn't for women like yourself who do this for because they tell me they're not in it for the money. If they make a good chunk of change from it, that's good. But it's about finding yourself and enjoying the training, the process, the workouts, and just loving what you do. And sometimes, yeah, it can be difficult. Like I said, I talked to ladies that sometimes they'll be on a prep and it can get strenuous. It can feel like the walls are closing in on them. And every now and then I might send a little something, say, here's a little something to make you maybe make your day a little better. And I've had responses to say, George, thank you for saying that. Because sometimes I need a little pick me up. Because sometimes it's good to try to help. It doesn't hurt to help if you can.
mhm.
And someone like yourself, you're new to the game. And now you're gonna jump into big waters now. And you are determined. That's what it is. Determination, persistence, consistency. Motivations change from the wind. But when you have those three, that helps you in the long run.
It certainly does. And like I said, I'm just really excited to like step up there and be with like all these pros. I know like some people they get really nervous. I mean, I'm nervous. I feel like in a good way, right? Because I just don't want to make a fool of myself. Like
That's the thing.
I'm
Why?
socially awkward at times. Like I'm not like I
But
might
that's the
you
thing
know
with people when we see y'all, like especially us who go to shows or who watch the pay-per-views or whatever, we see these amazing bodies, in great shape. And we don't know what y'all going through. You're tired, you're dehydrated, you're hungry, you're nervous. I mean, I know like one time she took a little sip before she did a show because it helped her calm her down a little bit. You got to find what works for you. Find your courage. Get out there. If you're, like I said, it's your first time, you feel like you got a little shakes, you got a little butterflies, just think yourself, I'm doing this for me.
Mhm.
I'm doing this because I enjoy building my body, coming out here, presenting to it. I mean, it's like anything. You said again, you're a work of art. You're your own artist. Your body is the canvas. That gym the um, is the brush. So you build your body, you brush your paint, you put like that, and you bring out this beautiful piece of art, a sculpture. And it's amazing. And there's an old small saying, "We're ladies rock hard, we're rock hard," but that's a different situation. But really, as I said again, I really respect what y'all ladies do. What y'all, most people won't be able to do this to get into diet, to get into prep. It would take one time smelling a nice piece of pizza. I said, you know what, fuck this shit, I'm out. But it's the thing about it getting. You have to be determined. You have to be persistent. You have to be consistent. And if you love what you're doing, you should do it as long as you want to.
Yeah, as long as I feel like even there's some people that would take that to extreme level where they like they die or it ruins their health. But yeah, like if you're in good health and like you're making smart decisions about it, yeah, like it And as long as you enjoy it, I feel like that's the most important part, right? Because like I feel like some people probably feel like they have to do it when, I feel like people do that in general. Humans, we justify things sometimes that are just not. You're like, why am I doing this? Like, but because that's why I love Chris Bumstead so much. He was just so transparent about everything, right? He was just really honest about stuff. And he would mention like the mental anguish you would go through, especially when you're at the top, like it's pressure. Like you want to keep that position, right? But like at the end of the day, it's still like all these stressors from other people, and you know you you're trying to have like this good balance in life. I feel like that's kind of like a thing over here, is like just in America, is like we're just really extreme when it comes to stuff. Like we just kind of everybody works too much or they eat too much, or there is no like in between. Like balance is such a hard thing to maintain. And I feel like I had a at the gym in Michigan I used to work out at, I used to have this friend that was a police officer, and he said this thing to me that it really made a lot of sense. And he's like, the saying when you ask somebody how they're doing and they say, I'm just trying to be good, they they really are just trying to be good. And he meant in the way is like not just, obviously not breaking the law, but like being a good spouse, or just trying to do the right thing, or trying to maintain a job, trying to just live your life. I mean, that the stuff's it, you don't realize it, but like it's hard to make that happy medium in life. It can't just be black and white. There's a gray area. And I admit it, I'm a very black and white person sometimes. And especially when you're in prep, you kind of have to be like, you're living in this box for what, 16 to however weeks or however long you do prep, right? So it's it's hard to sometimes just try and be balanced, right? Especially if you never know what that is. And I feel like uh you see these people do these great things, and they'll tell you like, I don't know what balance is, I just go for it.
Well, I could tell you, when I was much younger. I was holding down two jobs. I was working at a gas station, working at a textile plant. I mean, one time I was working at a strip club. And I can tell you, yeah, America, we're are probably one of the most extreme countries in the world. Everybody else is kind of more like, if you go to Europe, things are different. They don't run as fast. They don't move as fast. It's not like, especially with these young competitors, everybody wants everything hot and ready and fresh right there and now. But this is what I learned. Before you trust this process, understand the process. It takes time to build your the body, to get that level, to look like, look how long it took someone like Andrea Shaw. She took some years off, she came back, boom. Look at, Angela. Look at, Sarah, and also look at all these women who compete in the sport, be it from Sydney all the way out to Laura Lee, bikini, Olympia champion. It took them time,
Mhm.
and they understood, and they had to deal with the stress of everyday life, and to try to survive and be the best who they are in this sport. You, like I said, you're still like, my man Jerome was like, say, still wet behind ear and breath like Similac. You're still learning, you're still growing, but you understand what's involved in this. You just need some little stuff here and there to help you along the way in your process. You meet the right people, you get with the right people who know and understand what you need. Like I said, you have a great physique. You remind me of a lady I know. I think her name is Gina. Y'all have that same kind of short, really blocky, good muscle physique. I've seen you a link to her. She's also a coach, and maybe it might be somebody you might want to talk to. Gina Calavero. She's IFBB pro. She took some time off because she was dealing with some medical issues, and she's also sponsored by Bad Rep. So I might see you might check her out. I think y'all might get along. I think she's very down. She's really about the point, and she enjoys working with women because she works with people like her and Helen Trevino and Irene Anderson. They have a little team get together, and I think we want to work with women. Maybe you find the right person to work with you. Sometimes one thing about a coach, you have to find that great relationship. Because I've talked to ladies who tell me like they get a coach, give them the same cookie cutter plan to give to a man. Men and women, we are biologically different. what works for a man may not work for a woman, and then vice versa.
I totally agree with that. There's only very few men coaches out there that I feel like kind of understand women that well. But like, I mean, it's men have obviously been doing this a lot longer, so there's so much more knowledge about how men should bodybuild, but not there's barely anything about women. And like that's that I feel like is like one of the hardest things is like I mean, at the end of the day, it's trial and error because what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another. So you're still gonna deal with that. But like, yeah, there's just not that much information, and I feel like the best people would probably be like past competitors and stuff. Yeah, it's just I've heard horror stories from people's coaches that I'm just like, why would they do that? And like, and to me, it's like I know people really care about like doing this and stuff, but at the end of the day, if like your body and stuff is showing like warning signs, like you really gotta ignore some stuff for you to be like, most things are pretty serious, right? Like I know it was a Dina Lynn Bailey. She had like rhabdo. I don't know if you know what rhabdo is. It's usually from people that like overwork, like that exercise too much. Mark Bell had this too because he was like running a lot. Runners do get it a lot too. You basically your body's like your muscles like breaking down and like going into your kidneys and stuff, and like your body you could die from that. Like it's a really but you there's stuff that comes up to that, right? Like warning signs, like you get like not to be too graphic, but like you'll get blood in your urine, or and stuff like that. You'll feel like crap all the time. You're tired. I mean, like even something as little as that, I people just really overlook that. And I think especially when you're in like this type of sport, it's like everybody has that old saying, no pain, no gain. I mean, well, that's kind of true, but like, and then we don't want to sit here and be like, oh, I could have done more. I'm like, I'm being a wimp. And it's like, no, you need to know the difference between that because your body's telling pain is a sign of like a warning before stuff goes wrong, right? Like, it's like, once you don't have that, that's you're pretty much screwed. It's like, I don't, but I feel like that's kind of a culture thing over here too, not just people that don't work out, but just with our health in general. And it's many things like because it's to have insurance is expensive to, anything. Like, it's a cost, and like we just kind of learn to ignore it. And I think that's kind of sad. It shouldn't be like that, but um,
I can tell you this from my experience. I learned to know it but right now that's why I have a pacemaker because of that. Because I overlooked because I had to go, I had to work, I had to pay, I take care of myself, pay bills, and we just put that aside. Your body is you only have one body, maybe be reincarnation, but right now this is where I got right now. You have to take care of it, not just the physical part, but also the mental part of it. Because if the mind's not well and the body's not going to follow, and you should pay attention when it tells you something. Hey, we're not feeling well. We can't do that. Like right now, I got two bad knees. I still cold Steve Austin. I tried. I got to see a specialist in about a couple of weeks, and we're going to talk about see what we can do. I don't want to think about surgery. Just give me some shots. I'm good, but you may have to go with that because I'm a big dude, and it
mhm.
has affected my knees a bit. But your body is important, and if you want to take a step back and say, you know what, my health is more important than this sport. This sport's always going to be here as long as it's going to be. And if I just saw a friend of mine, he just interviewed a lady who had competed for. She turned pro 10 years ago, and she's making a pro debut. That's a long time.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, you really need to take that time and see where you want to go. Like I said again, the sport's going to be here when you're ready.
that's what's nice about it. That's what one of my favorite things about bodybuilding is like it teaches you patience, and you have to be somebody that can accept delayed gratification. You cannot. That's the thing. Like I've had people I've trained in the past, like they're just like think they're gonna like look like how I do, right? Or like be like that immediately, and it's like no. It. Do you know how long it took me to? I've been consistently lifting for over 10 years. Like it's like it doesn't happen overnight, and I feel like we're in a culture like that where we want like that instant gratification, and like nobody really wants to work hard for anything. I'm from like how I was raised. My grandparents raised me. They were born like in the Great Depression, so like they had to work hard for everything, and like they knew what it was like to have nothing, and like it's I think that's what makes me like kind of a good, like not just power lifter, but a good bodybuilder. And why I'm able to do it on my own for right now is because I just have that work ethic, right? Like that I know what stuff is supposed to be hard, and stuff is supposed to be hard that's worth it. Like if it comes to you easy, then it's not, I don't think it's good. Like it's just, I don't know. I see a lot of, like when I was in NPC, a lot of people you could tell they just told them, "Hey, you should do a bodybuilding show," and they get so bummed out when they don't win or anything. And it's like, well, you have to understand, like you don't know how many times these people have been doing the same show, or like just what they've had to go through. People, I feel like it's that's why sometimes I don't like social media, because there's that illusion of that, like these people just got it so quickly, right? Like and it's, they don't ever tell you the backstory of things, of like how long it took them, or it's, I don't know. Again, like I said, I just try to be so transparent. It gets me in trouble sometimes, but I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't want to be labeled as a liar or like misleading, because I know what that feels like. I've had people do it to me, so it's you know.
Well, like Hunter is a good example. She was like one of those outliers. She turned pro within the same time she made her bodybuilding debut. Then she took second in one of the biggest shows as a Tampa Bay pro. Took some time off because I think she wanted to deal with some stuff to understand. Hope we get to see come back this year because I think she has a lot of potential. She's an amazing young lady, has a great physique. Hope she does come back. I know she was really. I think I was watching a thing she was doing like a some kind of documentary was doing, and at the end of it, she just didn't come back because I think she was just shocked how way she placed at the Olympia. But like I think about it, when Iris Gal did her first Olympia, she was next to the bottom. A lady who I interviewed, and she's a friend of mine, Melody. She also made her pro debut, and Melody's almost in her 60s, and she has an amazing physique. And it's about taking that time, especially when you hit. I think a lot of ladies when they hit there because your body slows down. Your body builds up that natural testosterone. You can build that muscle. These younger people, you're still young, you're still wet behind the ears, you're still baby soft. It's going to take your time. And like I said again, too many young people, or too many people in general, want everything hot, fresh, and ready. It's not going to work like that. You have to work hard, sweat hard. Take some days where you know what, this is going to be tough. But the quote my man Rocky Balboa, life's going to beat you down. I love quoting movies. It doesn't matter how, but it's about how you can take the beat and get back up, keep moving forward.
Yeah, and I like how you mentioned like about younger people, and like how they want stuff really quickly. I don't know if people like realize this or not. When you see like the top, especially female competitors, especially, they're like my age. They're not in their 20s. They're not like, they're like, I think like Andrea is a year older than me. Me and Ange are like the same age. Like you don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some women in their 20s. They look great, but I mean, you got to see like the top right now. Like they're women in their 40s. They're not younger. Like this is a very mature uh sport, and I mean not just meant like being mature in like age or anything. I mean like it takes time. Like I said earlier, like to build the muscle, like muscle maturity comes with age. It doesn't just come because you work out a lot and like you take all the gear you want. Like that's another, I think it's so funny when people think, oh, you gotta take a bunch of steroids. It's like, do you think like that's like the key to all this? Because it's not. It's, for some people it's part of it, but like you still have to put the work in. You have to, it's just silly to me because it's I love it when like older people will be like, oh, you're an inspiration, I can never do what you do, and I'm like, yeah, you can. I'm like, you probably get into it quicker than like somebody who's younger, like I'm like, that doesn't, I said age ain't nothing. If you're still walking and your joints are good, like you should do it. It's, that's what I really loved about bodybuilding too. And I think like that's why I kind of pulled away from powerlifting a little bit, was it got harder because people just got so strong and like so quickly. And I've been doing this at that point for like 8 years, and I'm like, Jesus, I feel like I'm gonna like die trying to like get to this. Like try to get like I think my highest total I got was 1,100 or 1,113 total. And that's pretty good. I'm not ashamed of that. But like there are women out there that got 1,500 totals and stuff, and like maybe shit. I know there's some equipped lifters out there. You know, the people who wear the suits and stuff. They probably got close to 2,000 total. Like, in it, it's. I just was like, man, I feel like I'm gonna die trying to do this stuff.
The 56 get rich or die trying. But
Yeah,
you have to work within your means
right.
and understand that you're not gonna be Andre, you're not gonna be Angela. You're gonna be you, and you have to work with what you got. Make those improvements. One thing I said again: work on your strengths, but also work on your weaknesses. Improve those. It's just taking time. So, folks, we're not going to hold it too much longer. We do appreciate the time that Jamie gave us here. We wish her best of luck in the show. She says she's going to be doing the Rising Phoenix. People like this. There's the Arizona Pro, that's already in the division, and there's the Rising Phoenix, specifically women's bodybuilding. But it really has changed now. Now it's an open show. It's an opportunity because fewer shows for women's bodybuilding. And one thing I feel is there's guys out there who's a fan of this. You have deep pockets. Don't be ashamed. Be proud of your fan of women's bodybuilding or any division in the IFBB. Reach out to the promoters, support it. Say, you know what? You go to a show like Texas. Hey, I don't see any. I see some physique competitors. I like them. They're all right, but I want to see some women bodybuilders. If you go a show like a couple other shows here and there, I know one guy he dropped women's physique from his show, and he still has it in his other show. But just go out and just really support these ladies and show that you are a fan. Don't be too, weird guys saying like, I like your muscles. But say, yes, I like your muscles, but also I like you. We have here a comment from our man KL. He's been sticking down here for a long time. He says this. He says, good luck to you and good night. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Because it's about a little long. And young lady, I'm an old man. I can't stay up all night like I used to. I used to run it raw. Used to run it all night long, but now I'm just getting a little slower. But I do enjoy the opportunity to talk with anyone and share their story. And your story is really good. What you have went through and how you have evolved as an athlete. A lot of ladies they find something that really works for them. So this question I'm gonna ask you: what would you want out of bodybuilding for yourself?
Oh, um, well, I guess like on like the show level, I've always just wanted to like at least do the Olympia once. That's one thing I want to do. I just want to be in it once, and that I just hope it teaches me like better habits so when I get older, so like I don't, you know, do anything super unhealthy. I guess because it does teach you to eat good and healthy, and um, yeah, that's really, I'm pretty simple with the stuff I want, I guess. Like, not too complicated. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to be like super famous or anything. I mean, it's a bonus if that happens, but like I said, I'm just happy to be able to be well enough to do bodybuilding and do it for a little while. That makes me happy. So,
Well, you know what? You should do what makes you happy. You should enjoy what you do. Like I said, ladies tell me that you do the sport because they enjoy it. They enjoy the training, they enjoy the workout, they enjoy the everything about it. They hate the other stuff that goes with it, but they really enjoy it because you don't get a sport to get famous. You don't make a lot of money. If you're lucky enough, if you do a show and you get like $2 or $3,000, or used to be Ryan Phoenix money was big money. Andre was getting a car and a truck about every other year, but what you do because you love it. And bodybuilding, like I said, has changed over the years. I've been following for a long time. It has changed. The looks aside, the look, the really, it's like any sport. It's evolved over time. The athletes, the rules, and when you find that it's just not, like I said again, it's something you don't love anymore, then move on, do something else. There's some ladies I know who left bodybuilding and went on to CrossFit. I know a lady she's 62 years old. Interviewed a while back. She started bodybuilding at 55, and she did physique, and then she's doing figure. Now she's going to do physique again. And like I said, if you still want to get a shot at the Olympia, as you know, this year they're doing the Master Olympia. I don't know if you're interested in it. You are 40, so you can do 40 plus, and that can get you qualification. Just win. I know a lady who's competing this weekend. She's going to be going to Japan in a few months. I know a friend of mine, she's also going there. But you do what's best for you. You do because you want to do it, and prove to you what you want out of it. And it's good that you have support of your husband, because some people don't understand the sport. It's always going to be this comments like, "She's trying to be a man." Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's usually from guys who look like me and got boobs, but really, you do you. Like the Great Britain man says, like if people don't like who you are, fuck them.
Well
All
said.
right. All right. So, young lady, you have anybody you want to give a shout out before we let you go?
I'm just excited to see, like I said, Angela Yeo and Andrea Shaw. I haven't seen Angela since the Pro Am in 2019, and Andrea I haven't seen since I moved. So it'd be really nice to, you know, like be like, hey, I'm on the stage right next to you. It'd be kind of cool. I mean, I look up to those guys, so I don't know. Yeah,
Well,
and I hope they. I mean, they always do. So
well, like I said, they changed the thing with the show this year, so they may not compete there because the prize money has changed and everything's changed. Now it's an open show. It's not invitational. They might come just to hang out and support
right.
it. I hope they do because it does need our support. Y'all ladies need support. Y'all need to support each other. We the fans who need to support you, and also sponsors and promoters need to understand that hey, y'all just as much as a factor to it. The women's divisions make up the majority of the sport now, but we all know it's always going to be the men's going to get attention. But you deserve that respect and recognition. That's why I have this. That's why my challenge about y'all ladies, because it may not be the 80s, but I'm down with the ladies. Oh, and before I let you go, he gotta say something. He want to tell you, he says, and Jamie, I want to tell you something. You are beautiful. I guess he's special about him. I'm talking to guy because he's in my head somewhere, but he completes me. So, Jamie, I appreciate the time you've given me. Wish you best of luck in your future. I want to give a shout out to my man KL, the one who's sticking in here. Curtis L. Jr., Curtis, Dorian Hamer, who came through. Anybody who wants to follow us, you can follow my links on here on the in my YouTube channel. Also, if you want to follow Jamie, her links are also in the description of this live stream. You want to support this lady, interested in sponsoring her, guys, no weird stuff. I don't want to be hearing her husband be like, hey, would you send that shit to my wife? And come on, be respectful. This young lady, she's really determined and she really loves women's bodybuilding. It's nice to hear that. I'm a fan. It's nice to hear that. You really like me. You really like me. Well, ma'am, I appreciate your time to give me. I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you for interviewing me.
Well, the quote from my man, my favorite movie is Dark Knight. Shout out to the late Val Kilmer, who was the Batman. Still a good Batman. Not one of my favorites, but still a good Batman. And from Batman Begins, when Jim Gordon said to Batman, I never get a chance to say thank you. Better turn around and says to you, you never have to. That's what my challenge here, to give y'all a voice.
Oh.
Maybe even Clint, didn't I? So, folks, I'd like to thank y'all for coming through. Let's support Jamie Howard in her upcoming show. She's doing the Rising Phoenix. She might even think about doing the Titan Grand Prix. Well, I hope you do. We do need more ladies like yourself who are really, really want to support women's bodybuilding. It needs the bodies. We need the people who are really fans of the division, and we need the opportunity for y'all to grow and to prosper.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I appreciate my people coming through here. Thank y'all for supporting me, and thank you for my channel. We got one more day. Triple O, brother. I'm gonna watch it, and y'all watch it, support it, buy the live stream, go to shows, do what you can. That does help, and reach out to these competitors with genuine interest. Anyway, this man always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. Good afternoon, good night, good luck, and God bless.